Hey everybody, Craig Caudill, Director of Nature Reliance School. Check it out. Everybody wants to know, what kind of stuff do you need to be prepared? Probably got a surprise answer for you here. Do you think it's a pack this big, it has all that kind of stuff in it, or something about this size? The surprise is you don't need a whole lot of stuff to be able to survive. Everything that I need to survive, I can fit in this pack right here. Don't get me wrong, I can put some extra stuff in here. It makes me a lot more comfortable. What we're going to look at are what I consider the 10 essential things that we need to be able to take with us whenever we want to take care of our survival or preparedness needs. As far as the 10 essentials are concerned, there's actually 5 that I feel like you must take with you whenever you're going to go into a wilderness setting, or even if you're at home, you need to have something like this close by so that you can be able to take care of your needs. Let's take a look at each one of them. First off, you need to have good clothes on. So if you're going to go into a summertime situation where you're going to be sweating, you want to have something where you can hold moisture on you that'll cool you off, like cotton. But if you're going into a wintertime setting and you're wearing cotton, it's still going to hold that moisture and that's going to cool you down. So make sure you're wearing clothes that are going to be suitable to the environment that you're going in. I'm a big fan of something as simple as a garbage bag, which does not take up much space in your pocket or in your pack, whatever it is that you have, because this has a lot of uses. Let me talk about a few of them. First off, if you don't have a rain jacket, all you need to do is cut a hole in the bottom of it, put it over top of your body, and you have an immediate rain jacket. Secondly, you can lay it down on the ground, and when you lay it down on the ground, if the ground is wet, that's going to keep you dry so that you can lay down on something that is not wet. Next, if you don't have a sleeping pad, what you can utilize the garbage bag for is to fill it full of leaves or grass or something of that nature, and then you basically create yourself a mattress that you can utilize in a wilderness area. The next thing you need to be able to do is build a fire, and we're going to go over this later in detail in another lesson. However, carrying a lighter is a really useful tool to be able to help you start a fire. So have permission from your parents if you're a young person, and if you're an adult, make sure that you have a lighter in a way that you can store it so it does not get wet. Next, you need to have some sort of cutting tool. I'm a big fan of multi-tools and all the different things that they can do. One of the things that they do very well is they typically have a really good knife on them, like this one right here. And this knife is going to be really useful in an urban setting as well as in a wilderness setting. Number 4, you need to be going into a wilderness setting with your body hydrated. It means you need to drink water every day, and you need to have a water bottle that goes into the woods with you, into a wilderness setting if you're going hiking, or even if you're going out to play. Make sure that you're drinking plenty of water so that you can stay hydrated. I'm a big fan of, and we'll talk about this later as well in another lesson, but I'm a big fan of taking a metal cup when I'm going and hiking and camping and stuff of that nature. That way I have a way that I can boil water that I find in the environment. Last but not least, some sort of cordage. This just happens to be paracord, but you can find any string or cordage and utilize it effectively. This has so many uses. It's very valuable for you to be able to take some cordage with you. And as you look at it, these 5 pieces, which are essential pieces of gear that I feel like you need to take into the wilderness with you every time you go, are not going to take up that much space. They're not very expensive at all. So just about anyone can afford this and take it with them every time they go. That was the first 5 of the 10 essentials. Now we're going to take a look at the second 5. The second 5 are things that are going to make your life a lot easier, but you don't necessarily need them to survive. So they're important, but not as important as those first 5. So let's take a look. First off, you need to have something that'll help you navigate where you're going to. More often than not, that's just your mind. You know how to get to the park. You know how to hike this trail. But one of the important things that a lot of people don't know is that not all trails make a loop. So I'm a big fan of having a map, and I like to put it in a Ziploc bag so that it stays dry. And I have a compass, and I know how to use both. So that's very important. We'll have another lesson that's going to go into detail on that. As far as navigation is concerned, we're a big fan at Nature Reliance School of using the app Gaia GPS and having a battery backup for our phones. Matter of fact, that's the primary go-to navigation equipment that I utilize on most everything that I do, is Gaia GPS. It's a GPS unit that is just basically an app on your phone. So you don't have to have a separate unit, and it works exceptionally well. It's really easy. There's a free version and there's a paid version. Secondly, as we are going to go into detail in another lesson, first aid supplies. So I'm just going to briefly mention them here, but you need to take some first aid supplies with you whenever you're going to go into particularly an overnight situation. Flashlight. It doesn't have to be a monster one either. You can see that I carry a flashlight with me everywhere I go on my car keys in a situation where I am unexpectedly caught outside. So that's always with me. Snacks. If I know I'm going to go outside, I'm going to be outside for a long time, or if I know that I'm going to go outside and possibly have to stay overnight, I love to have some snacks. So anything I like, nuts and small packages of little snacks like this that I can put in my small pack and have those for me whenever I need them. Last but not least, you need to have some sort of signal. So if I'm out in a wilderness area where everything's green and I'm wearing green, well, I'm going to match the wilderness. So what I need to do is have something, whether it's a bandana or a shirt on, or something like this, which is a little seat that I carry with me a lot of times. You can tell I use this a lot. Then if somebody's looking for me, I can utilize this as a signal. Now, if I'm still in school, and that might be you, if you're still in school, I'm a big fan of taking a whistle with you. So it is one of those things that I feel, for those of you that are parents, that you have to put on a child if they're going to go in the outdoors, and know that that whistle is something that is not a toy. It's not something to play with. It is something that you utilize only when you're in danger. Hey, you're probably like me, and then you like kind of stuff, like gear, and all the things that go along with it. But I want to tell you from my experience, there's 3 things that you need to communicate to others whenever you're going to go outside. If you're 50 and going hiking, or if you're 15 and going down the street, you need to tell somebody these 3 things whenever you're going to go outside. Number 1, where you're going. Number 2, what time they should expect you to come back home. And number 3, who you're going with. If you tell somebody those 3 things, then if something happens to you and you don't come home, let's say you break an ankle, let's say you get lost or something of that nature, then they can do everything they can to get the proper first responders out to find you. That way, you don't have to be stuck out there by yourself for very long. So again, tell someone where you're going, when they should expect you to return home, and who you're going with. Those are vital to taking care of yourself. Now, with that in mind, what I want to do is think about all this gear. How are we going to carry it? And what kind of things do we need to have on our feet so our feet are protected? Those are very important things that we need to consider. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at some different footwear, and I'm also going to look at how you can carry stuff differently so that you stay comfortable and can spend more time outside. Hey, I'm probably going to surprise you when I tell you this next thing. But when we're talking about footwear, the shoes that I like to wear the most when I go into the outdoors is just my old tennis shoes. They're comfortable. I know what they feel like on my feet. They take care of the bottom of my feet. But that is me, and I'm an older person, and so I don't do a whole lot of running around and jumping around in the woods these days. If you're going to wear something that you know you're going to be moving around a lot, or you might be climbing up a tree or something of that nature, you might want to get some hiking shoes or hiking boots. What this does is it brings up the base of the shoe a little bit higher so it protects your ankle, because your ankle is one of the most susceptible pieces of your body to get hurt. So hiking shoes are going to be almost imperative for you if you're going to do a whole lot of backpacking, or if you're going to do a whole lot of hiking in areas where you might be running your ankles against rocks and logs and stuff of that nature. If you're going to stay on trail, again, I usually just wear tennis shoes. Now think about if you want to go explore a creek, if you want to go in and check out rocks, you want to go fishing or something like that. I wear some sort of shoe that it doesn't hurt me for my feet to get wet, and I usually just don't wear socks. Now, that's not going to work too well if it's cold, but in the summertime, if I'm going to do some exploring in a creek, I'll just wear something like Crocs or rubber shoes or sandals or something like this. The beautiful thing about these, Crocs that is that they float. And so if they fall off of my feet while I'm in the middle of a creek, then I just reach down there floating on top of the water. Even if they fall off underneath the water, they'll float up to the top. Now, with all that said, let's think about how we're going to carry all this stuff that we have with us. What we're going to do now is we're going to go back to my little pack and my big pack. I'll show you when I can carry each and some things that are very important so you can stay healthy. Let's first take a look at this little pack of mine, and this is a sort of unique pack in that I wear it on the front. Now, one of the things you want to make sure that you do is whatever your shoulder straps are, you want to make sure they're not all bound up and wrinkled on your shoulders. If they're flat and they lay out, then it takes a lot of pressure off of your shoulders and makes it a lot more comfortable to carry. So once I put this on, so as you can see, I just get the pack basically on me. And again, this is a chest carry pack. But see these straps on the side? There's a lot of space there. These might not be straightened up. So I get all this straightened up so it's comfortable on my shoulders. And then I pull the cinch straps up, because when I move, I don't want a pack to bounce around on me. So I pull this up, not to where it's tight and it's hurting, but I'm got it in a place where it won't bounce around. Sometimes, if you have a water bladder, like I do on this one, you can bring this up over your shoulder and have it on a chest kid, or just have it on the shoulder straps of a pack. Or I like to put it underneath my arm, then it all fits rather nicely. If I need to take a drink, I can. And with this type of pack, all those supplies I talked about earlier, they're all in these little pockets. And so I'm ready to go. The reason I'm showing you this is because this is all I need to survive uncomfortably outside for one night, maybe even 2 or 3 nights. This has that garbage bag in it that I can utilize to put leaves in it and create a mattress for myself. Very fundamental supplies, and I never go outside, even if I'm going for a day hike. Only if I'm going out for an hour to look at trees and study and research. I always have basic supplies with me every time I go to the wilderness. Now, what happens if we have a bigger pack? And this back's not huge, but I'm going to show you 2 ways that you can put a pack on so you don't hurt your back. And then after you get it on, I'm going to show you how to get it on your body properly so you can continue to hike and spend more time outside and stay as comfortable as you can. All right, so let's consider that our pack is on the ground. One thing that I've done is I've taken the waist belt and the shoulder straps and I've opened them all the way up. That's important. Here's the first way to load a pack. Reach down, grab it by a handle, pick it up, and rest it on your leg. Now this pack's not incredibly heavy, so this is easy to do, but if you've got a 100-pound pack or you're going for a long backpacking trip, 50 pounds or something like that, this is going to be very beneficial to you. Pull open the strap, put it on your shoulder, swing it around until you can get your other shoulder into the other strap. Now, what I like to do is bend over slightly so that I can make sure that it's on my body. First thing I want to do is knot the shoulder straps. First thing I am going to do is get the waist belt. So I get it connected and cinched up on my waist. I want this resting on my hips. I want to be able to move and the pack is stable. Next thing I do is I then get my shoulder straps and I pull them snug. What I'm looking for is right through here, I want the pack against my back. I don't want it hanging off of my back. And then to keep it from sliding off my shoulders, if I have a sternum strap, I'll pull that. This keeps the shoulder straps where they need to be. Now I can move, bend over, squat down, pick up stuff, and the pack's right where it needs to be. Now let's look at the second way to put a pack on. Now this is what I do when I have a pack that's really heavy. I'll lay it upside down in front of me, grab it by the sides, a good grip, squat it up with my legs instead of picking it up with my back, pick it up and over my head so that my arms slide through the straps, let it slide down my back. And the rest of cinching everything up is just like the first time. That's just lesson 1, you all. We got a whole lot more stuff to cover. We're going to take a look at all these gear pieces and how to put them to use. We're going to build fires, build shelters. We're going to show you how to do some first aid. We're going to do all kinds of cool stuff together. But that's the gear. This is how to put some of it on. Come on, join in. Let's learn together.